As a man, I'm flesh and blood. I can be ignored, I can be destroyed, but as a symbol, as a symbol, I can be incorruptible.
He gave us a signal. Where are you?
Something elemental, something terrifying.
Welcome back. It is episode 28 of Cavecast, and today we were talking about Dr. Pamela ISELY, but I couldn't do it without my co-host and good friend, Drunken Emerald Arrow. How you doing today?
Great. Throw it to me right when I'm taking a sip of coffee.
Mouthful.
Mouthful.
I saw it, and I was just like, I'm going for it anyway.
Doing well.
That's good. Other people might be popping in, but this is the first. Well, not the first Silver Age character, but after we did a couple of I thought the most influential, we started breaking it up by age, and this is definitely the biggest character to come out of the Silver Age. Let's see. And I mean, yeah, a lot of them are really nothing burgers. You got the Terrible Trio, Calendar Man, Dr. Double X, Mr. Freeze, who we already
wait, double X. I mean, is that just three versions of Musk?
Yes. It's him when he was bald and first working on Tesla, out of his college dorm, and then it's when he bought PayPal, and then eventually when he got hair plugs and got that.
You know what? I know if I'm ever going bald, I will get hair plugs, because clearly hair plugs makes you smarter, and on top of that, gets you a lot of women. So,
it's not the billions and billions of dollars.
I'm ignoring that point.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to take that into account.
Couldn't be anything.
It's hair plugs. Hey, it's hair club for men. Okay, respect hair club for men. It'll get you laid.
He's not only a supporter, he's a client. Let's see. Yeah, so honestly, there really isn't a lot. Like I said, there was Clayface Matt Hagen, but there was already an iteration of Clayface. The False Face Society, Catman, Dr. No Face, a lot of face stuff, a lot of doctors, the Grasshopper, the Getaway Genius, Mr. Incognito, the Bouncer, the Monarch of Menace.
See, the Comics Book Authority didn't mind people making doctors look bad. Just don't make cops or the government look bad.
Yeah, but like we talked about last week, the Comic Book Code of Authority really did a number. These are a lot of lame villains.
Yep.
So we'll probably spend a couple weeks on it, but we're just gonna scoot right through this to get to the Bronze Age. We'll definitely talk about people like Batmite and other things like that, but Batmite's really not an original character either, because that's just Batman's version of Mr. Mixie Spittlelick from Superman. So that's here nor there, but let's jump in the chat, say hello to everybody. Rick Costa, good morning. Sergeant, always good to see you. And that's who we got for now. But also share the show, especially on X. It gets me a lot of traction, and it lets other people know that we're going. Also, like I said, I was just telling Emerald backstage. Look at that thumbnail. That's when I think of Poison Ivy. Just like sexy redhead covered in marijuana leaves. Those look like marijuana leaves, right? Like that's
Yeah. I don't think they were really trying to hide it.
No, she would do well at a 420 celebration. But let's jump right in to her. Yep, sexy and dangerous. I agree, and that's how she should be. She's an odd character because she went from being like this sex symbol to like a feminist icon. I don't really know. I don't know if I like that.
Man, she's a crazy redhead.
Yeah,
that has no soul. So I mean,
well, that's the thing about redheads. It makes you want to fuck the soul back into them. Yeah. Let's share thine screen. Poison Ivy is a character appearing in American comics, published by DC Comics, created by Robert Kanigher and Sheldon Moldoff, and artist Carmine Infantino. Let's just show him real quick. There he is. She debuted in Batman 181 in June of 1966. So this is right when the show was going on. I'm surprised she didn't make her way over. She became one of Batman's one of the superhero Batman's most enduring enemies, belonging to the collective of adversaries that make up his rogues gallery. In her comic book appearances, Poison Ivy is depicted as a doctor of botany turned misanthropic eco-terrorist in Gotham City named Pamela Lillian Isley, PhD, with the ability to control all plant life. Empowered by the elemental force known as the Green, Ivy attempts to protect the sanctity and supremacy of nature at all costs by lashing out against humanity, which brings her into conflict with Batman. While usually portrayed as a supervillain, Ivy has also been an anti-heroine at times, as well as the primary love interest of Harley Quinn as of the New 52 and DC Rebirth relaunches.
And that's kind of where they start. Well, it's because of New 52 where she became started becoming that feminist icon.
Yeah,
because she's a lesbian now.
She's a lesbian. Yeah, I hate all humanity. I relate better to plants, but Harley's okay.
What's that say about Harley? I mean,
well, I mean, so even from I might be mistaken, but and we'll get into it here. Her character does start off being like brutalized by men. So like it wouldn't be that out of the realm that she would become a lesbian, but then you turn her into like this embodiment of, like anyone who champions the Green, it usually kind of loses touch with their humanity, like Swamp Thing characters like that. They're a little beyond, getting into a on and off again lesbian relationship. Yeah, that is. Well, she's in a one-piece costume adorned with leaves and vines and serves as Poison Ivy's visual motif. Poison Ivy has been adapted into various incarnations, having been portrayed by Uma Thurman in one of the weirdest performances. She had that come by and see me sometime, kind of like old school Hollywood swagger, which I guess isn't like a terrible acting choice. It was just that movie was so off the wall
She would have been fine in the role had the movie been better and better written. I think she would have been fine. I don't think she was the greatest pick for the role, but like I said, I don't blame her. I definitely
No,
blame Schumacher. I blame Schumacher.
no, yeah, I completely agree. Publication history. Let's see. Poison Ivy was created. No, we already got that. Infantino discussed how the character was created. The only reason she came about was because of Catwoman on the Batman show. They wanted more female villains, and what was the other one I did? The Silver Fox, and then Batgirl. That show, because of it, we're selling millions of copies a month. But that show, when it died, so did the comic books. So, but did she ever appear? I'm pretty sure Poison Ivy did not appear on the Adam West show. I would have known about it. But yeah, so that's what Poison Ivy's origins depicted in Neil Gaiman's short story Pavane. Secret Origins. Okay, yeah, this is when Neil Gaiman could like write comic books. During which she declares herself to be nature's daughter and the world's rightful ruler. It is later revealed that her powers were gifted to her by an environmental force known as the Green. Ivy is considered extremely beautiful within the DC universe and is often presented as a temptress. She is typically depicted barefoot with long flowing hair, plant vines extending over her limbs, and green one piece. Yeah, so we already talked about that. Writer JT Kroll, who helped further define Poison Ivy's personality, summed up her character with the following quote: the thing I love most about Poison Ivy is her walking that line between bastion of Mother Nature and psycho.
Oh, okay. So I did a little checking into that to see when the first actual live action of Poison Ivy was. It wasn't Batman and Robin. It actually happened in 1992. The movie was called Poison Ivy, starring Drew Barrymore. An erotic thriller with a similar name, but not the DC villain. So that is correct. Batman and Robin is the first and only live action version of Poison Ivy.
Wow.
So she was not in Adam West. Batman.
No, she was not in Adam West. She was in Gotham. But yeah, so the only live action movie portrayal. Also, Frank, good to see you, bud.
Yeah, they made her a little squirrely in Gotham.
Yeah, they did that with all of them though in Gotham.
Yeah. The only one they didn't was Selena Kyle.
Yeah, like I said, Gotham has its problems. It's fun to watch if you like shows like Smallville and stuff like that. You know, you're gonna get these weird callbacks. I was like, oh, they all met before they were superheroes proper. Well, wouldn't you know? Yeah, so she's a psycho eco-terrorist. She sees herself as the hand of Mother Nature. If Mother Nature were God, Ivy would be her Jesus. She defends the defenseless nature of the world and truly believes in her cause. Maiming, mauling, and mutilating to extreme measures, but nothing compared to the irredeemable cruelties humanity has done to the world of nature. Ivy always sees the greater good and punishes those who deserve it. So, I mean, yeah, definitely a true believer in that aspect. Yeah, I tend to agree. Her powers might have been too much, but also her powers weren't nearly what they were when she first was brought about. So you could have just had Burt Ward and Adam West tied up with like a couple of rope vines, and you know, they it would have been a lot of puppeteering, but I think they could have pulled it off. But I don't know. Hey, it was, getting through the holidays. I get it. It's back. I had some stuff going on in my family, so it's nice to get back to my regular schedule, have a little normalcy. After appearing in various DC publications, Poison Ivy starred in her first solo comic book with the series, with the 2016 miniseries Poison Ivy: Cycle of Life and Death. And look, they already changed her costume. They gave her an under costume, I guess.
You want to share that so everyone sees?
Oh, I have not been sharing. Nice little under costume.
Yeah.
This is followed by the 2021 graphic novel Poison Ivy Thorns. Oh, and look, they're another thing they're doing too. They're trying to make her like almost like this elven creature. Now, like they're giving her like pointy ears, and it's and she also co-starred in the miniseries Poison Ivy or Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. But that's all garbage. And obviously the people who did it best was Batman the Animated Series, but that should be a surprise to no one. So in the pre-crisis, Dr. Lillian Rose is a promising botanist who is persuaded by Marc Legrand into assisting him with the theft of an Egyptian artifact containing ancient herbs. Fearing she would implicate him in the theft, he attempts to poison her with the herbs, which are deadly and untraceable. She survives his murder attempt and discovers she has acquired an immunity to all natural toxins and diseases. So, I mean, very, very low bar considering, what this character is going to morph into. But post-crisis, following events of the DC Maxi series Crisis on Infinite Earths, which massively rebooted the DC universe history and continuity, Poison Ivy's origins were reversed in Secret Origins 36 by Neil Gaiman. Her real name was Dr. Pamela Iseley, PhD, a Gotham City botanist. She grows up in a wealthy yet emotionally distant parents, and later studies advanced botanical biochemistry at a university with Alec Holland and under Jason Woodrow. So Alec Holland is Swamp Thing, or the idea of Swamp Thing, and Jason Woodrow is the Floronic Man, who is another character that is absolutely insane. But yeah, so he pulled them kind of into the Swamp Thing verse, and as we all know on the show, I think Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing is about one of the best runs you could possibly have. Anybody else besides anyone else besides Roman drinking this morning? Well, is Roman drinking?
When isn't he? I mean, oh, that's mean. That's kind of like calling him an alcoholic. He's not. It is Saturday, and it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So I don't see.
Yeah, it's Saturday morning. You can do what you want. Well, no, she doesn't. She doesn't keep the same. So she was Pamela Rose, or Lillian Rose, and she's Pamela Iseley now. So she's definitely gonna have to buy new towels, bro. Hey, like I said, drink them if you got them.
No shame.
What if I could? But I got stuff to do today. Apparently,
hey, you want to know what? If I drank, then during streams I would always drink.
Yeah. I tried it for a little while. It wasn't working out for me. I didn't need any more help falling asleep on streams. Let's see. Yeah, so she worked, of course, because everybody's got to play like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon in comics. She not only worked with Swamp Thing and and studied under Floronic Man. She had to get her powers somehow that way, I'm sure. Isley is a shy girl, is easily seduced by her professor. Woodrow injects Isley with poisons and toxins as an experiment, causing her transformation. She nearly dies twice as a result of these poisonings, driving her insane. Okay. I misunderstood what you were saying. Yes, she does not have to change her towels. Causing her
Okay, so no, the real question is is that just bad planning on her part to go poison Ivy? It's too much of a giveaway for who her actual identity is to her secret identity.
Yeah, I don't think she cares. That is one thing about Poison Ivy that they don't have in a lot of these later depictions. Like, she is out of her mind. Okay, like she wants to get rid of all of humanity and just let plants take over, or at the very least.
So she's kind of, so she's a Bill Gates or Gore.
At the very least, she wants plants or people to be subservient to plants, which I don't know how that works. Let's see. So she nearly dies twice, causing her to go insane. Later, Woodrow flees from authorities, leaving Isley in the hospital for 6 months, enraged at the betrayals she suffers from violent mood swings, being sweet one moment and evil at the next. When her boyfriend has a car accident after mysteriously suffering from a massive fungal overgrowth, Isley drops out of school and leaves Seattle, and eventually settling in Gotham City. Ooh.
That explains it all right there. She's freaking Antifa from Seattle. Go fucking figure.
Yeah. If you must be politically extreme,
you got to come from the Pacific Northwest.
Yep. That's where they grow them.
Rick. She's a plant supremacist.
She is.
Freaking racist.
She begins her criminal career by threatening to release her suffocating spores into the air unless the city meets her demands. Batman, who appears in Gotham City at the very same year, thwarts her scheme, and she is incarcerated at Arkham Asylum. From this point on, she has kind of an obsession with Batman, him being the only person she cannot control due to his strong will and focus. Over the years, she develops plant-like superpowers, most notably being a lethal toxin in her lips. She literally is able to kill with a kiss, which isn't the worst way to go, because she is super hot. In subsequent issues, she states that she only started a life of crime to attain sufficient funds to find a location to be alone with her plants, undisturbed by humanity. A few years later, she attempts to leave Gotham forever, escaping Arkham to settle on a desert island in the Caribbean. She transforms the barren wasteland into a second Eden and is, for the first time in her life, happy. It is soon firebombed, however, when an American-owned corporation tests their weapon systems out on what they think is an abandoned island. Ivy returns to Gotham with a vengeance, punishing those responsible. After being willingly apprehended by Batman, she resolves that she can never leave Gotham, at least not until the world is safe for plants. From then on, she dedicates herself to the impossible mission of purifying Gotham. So
there's other places other than Gotham to do that. There's a lot of greener areas to go to. Why a concrete jungle?
Yeah,
I just don't understand.
Go to the Amazon where it's already,
Yeah.
you know, you can
And
fight
then
off.
go and attack the people there that are going through and destroying the rainforest. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a concrete jungle. You're not going to do much with that.
It's just like these feminists, right? They're bitching
Yeah.
in these first world countries. Go to the third world countries where
Yeah.
women are actually being persecuted. It's just like every other activist.
That's why, and again, this is adding more and more fuel for when 52 turned her into a feminist icon. This is all building towards that, where they completely misunderstand her entire character.
Yeah, but also just like every other one, they're not willing to put boots on the ground. But one, you know it. Speaking of feminist icons, Von Coleman's here.
Oh yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to talk about, feminism. I was gonna read some stuff last night and I ended up passing out. I mean, dude, Poison Ivy's great. Great villain. It feels like they're always trying to redeem her though.
Yeah,
that's a more recent thing.
Well, so you know, I always like the eco-terrorist aspect.
Me too.
And a lot of things that get missed is like she's crazy. She's a crazy person.
She's literally in an asylum. Yeah.
You know, like she wants people to be subservient to plants, which she can talk to plants now. Originally she couldn't. She just had, you know, originally she just couldn't get poisoned. And so she could work with other poisons and poison people and not like have to wear like a gas mask or anything. So it made it easier to rob banks and stuff like that. But you know, after the whole Neil Gaiman established the whole true plant connection with the green and stuff like that, she kind of becomes like, you know, I want people to stop hurting plants. And it's like, well, does every blade of grass have a voice? You get all these weird questions. But we also found out that she's crazy because she's from Seattle.
Yep.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yep,
that'll do it.
She's from Seattle? Exactly. I thought she's from Gotham City.
Well, she is. She moved to Gotham City.
But she's not originally from there?
In the post-crisis.
She's from Seattle.
Yep. In pre-crisis, she gets her powers like on an Egyptian excursion, which I mean is pretty standard fare for Golden Age. Like I was near the pyramid.
That was they really got rid of that.
Yeah, they did.
No, usually during an Egyptian trip like that, usually the women come back in a burqa, not having.
Oh yeah, all the plant people went to school together, right? Wasn't that what they decided post-crisis? To like
Alec Holland, Jason Woodrow, and Pamela.
They just all happened to be in class together.
Yeah.
Well, they were studying under the Floronic Man, Jason Woodrow, and then he injects her with like this. I don't know, like potpourri of different toxins and stuff, and it turns her.
Okay. I thought you were going a different route with the injection going on there on that school trip.
Well, it is also weird. I have to read that Secret Ordinance. People like it a lot, but that because she was the victim of abuse, which isn't really talked about in a lot of stuff, right? But that you know who wrote that story where she's a man abuses this woman?
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
You're right. We did kind of just blow right past that.
I think that was intentional, but okay.
Yeah. Celebrated female abuser Neil Gaiman. I just said that was back when Neil Gaiman should write comics. No.
Well, that's what you told me to say, actually.
Hey, you want? Oh, never mind. That's bad. I'm not even going to continue. That would have been bad. Anyway,
me and him went to one Epstein party, and all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy.
You want to know what they say? Write what you know.
Yeah, and that's what he knows. But this is when he was pretty good at writing comics, and he was one of the up and comers. And also
passed away.
What'd you say?
It's so sad he passed away.
Who passed away? Neil Gaiman?
No, I'm saying because his career's over.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, his career's done. But I mean, tying Pamela Isley to like the Swamp Thing lore and the Green and all that's a good idea, you know, like to expand the universe. It's just he's a prolific female abuser, so you know, there's that. But moving on, so you know, she has a mission to purify Gotham. At one point, Batman travels to Seattle to ascertain information on Pamela Isley's life before she became Poison Ivy. Here, Batman states that both Pamela's parents were dead, and when and why they died has been left undetermined. So,
and Batman's trip to Seattle is when he realized Gotham's worth saving. Seattle, yeah, it's a lost cause.
Yep. He ran into Courtney Love and was like, "No thanks."
Theo Snodgrass probably would have gotten along with Pamela Isley. He's from Seattle, isn't he?
Who?
Theo Snodgrass, a good friend of the channel. He would have.
He's from the other side of the mountains in Washington.
He could have changed her. He could have fixed her.
Yeah, you could have fixed her.
When in doubt, Theo can fix them.
Have you guys read Gotham City Sirens?
Some of it. I haven't read all of it.
It's a good series. So one of the things that I like about it is, first of all, Paul Dini did like the first half of it, but there's an arc where Jason Woodrue comes back. That was really good, really well done.
Jason Woodrue is one of the strangest characters in comics because he's either like an interdimensional imp, like a Floronic demigod, an alien, or he's just a doctor who screwed around with plants. It depends on
where did he first appear.
I think he appeared in the Atom.
Yeah, the Atom, but he also is tied with
he showed up in the Atom.
Batman villain. He's tied with the Batman villain. He's tied with he's
primarily
a villain of the Atom.
Oh, look at that. First appearance, Jason Woodrue, the Atom, #1.
Yeah. So is he the Atom's arch enemy?
I don't know. Okay, so let's Jason Woodrue first appeared in the Atom #1. How I remember that, I do not know. Woodrue sometimes likes to be called the plant master. He uses botanical knowledge of plants. He's basically male Poison Ivy. It's just he takes it to another thing.
So he's gone by 3 different names. Jason Woodrue has been Floro, the Floronic Man, and the Plant Master. Pick a name, dude.
Well, like the character evolves. Yeah, and then Neil Gaiman he taught botany to Philip Sullivan, Alec Holland, Pamela Isley. Why does Alec Holland?
Philip Sullivan?
I'm pretty sure it's just like another plant.
You're just another student.
Yeah. Nah, he's got to be someone significant.
Yeah, it has to be. But the experiences drives the Floronic Man insane. He refers to himself as Woodrue. Bunch of awesome design changes. One second. Okay. Okay. So yeah, he's gone toe to toe with a bunch of people, with the Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all just right here. So I mean, so he's all over the place. But he, I can't remember the first thing that I read. Yeah, here you go. Woodrue was an exile from an interdimensional world, inhabited by dryads. Woodrue is sometimes called the Plant Master. He uses botanical knowledge. So they dropped that and just made him a mad scientist.
Yep. instead of being an imp or whatever from a different I'm blanking on the word, but just essentially an interdimensional being. Just came to this earth. Nope, we got it grounded because that's just a little too far out there. So we're gonna make him just mad science.
And I mean, it worked in Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Like, it worked really well. And then apparently Neil Gaiman was like, I want to keep the ball running with this character, but I can't write him unless there's a woman to abuse. And that woman is Pamela.
In this case, it works. Poison Ivy. But my problem is, and this is, I guess we kind of want to get into it. I don't know, if we're bouncing around, I apologize. But I think one of the coolest but also worst things about Poison Ivy, and I think this is a case, I kind of came to this conclusion as I was coming up with my own villains. I was like, why are there, like, every time I look at, or not even just that, people are like, oh, best female villains. And I was like, they're redeeming or working to redeem every single female villain. And it's just a thing. And I think, in all honesty, like, I'm not even just saying this because it's a bit. I think it comes from men's innate desire to want to fix women. And I think male writers do that, or women writers. It's just, I think in general, men and women are softer on women. I think female writers will try and say, like, oh, well, she's actually a victim. She's actually this. And
I thought it stems from female writers infiltrating comic
I think it's
book.
that, but I think it's also men she's hot, we want to fix her. I think both of us have our own intentions, and that's why we have, like, no good female villains, is because we always try to redeem all of them.
Well, when a woman writes her, she's void of accountability. When men write her, there are some redeeming aspects, and you do want to, like, fix her, right? But with this, like, what Neil Gaiman did, it would make sense for a woman to use men as playthings and using her looks that way if she's horribly like brutalized by men. Like what Jason Woodrow did to her is terrible. She almost died twice. She was in the hospital for 6 months, and then she lost her mind. That's enough to drive anyone crazy. But let's see. She wants to purify Gotham. She killed her parents while in Arkham. Poison Ivy receives a message.
She killed her parents.
It's kind of implied that when Batman goes to check out, like, Pamela's history in Seattle, that her parents' death is undetermined. It's implying that she killed her parents. Which they already said they were rich, but, like, emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
Many such cases in the Batman mythos, by the way.
Absolutely.
There's so many villains.
Yeah.
What, did Daddy not love you enough?
Maybe Batman was the lucky one. His parents couldn't disappoint him.
Dead parents better than bad parents.
Yeah, because then you got, like, the idea of good parents.
Yeah, exactly. You got the good example.
And in different iterations, it is shown that Thomas Wayne isn't always great, even though, like, he always should be. I always think he should be depicted. I always think the Wayne should be depicted as kind of like, like the bastions of good in Gotham City.
I hate when they like the Telltale game changed that, and that's a topic for another stream. But I was, like, livid at that.
Yeah, I didn't like what they did at all. Obviously, the Joker isn't a good example because that movie was off its rocker anyway. But they also did it in the Batman, where
they ended up switching it around, which I liked, because I was checked out of the movie when they said that, and then when they're like, no, actually, it wasn't. It was this.
Yeah, that was fine, but and I don't mind them using something that Thomas Wayne started for good and ended up being manipulated for evil. That was fine. But yeah, I don't like when you screw around with the Waynes. They should be good people. Anyway,
Rick asked, are dead parents worse than dead puppies?
Oh no, Jason.
Dead puppies. Dead puppies. Dead puppies aren't much fun.
Always in our hearts. until he comes back because Superboy punched reality. What are you gonna do? So anyway, she gets a message through the flowers that someone is to help her escape that night. Two women, Holly and Eva, successfully break Ivy out and bring her back to their employer. She is less than happy to discover that it is the Floronic Man, formerly known as Jason Woodrow, her former college professor that conducted the experiments on her. The only human portion of him remaining is his head, while the rest of his body is plant-based. They did kind of show what that looked like over here, because I remember that was like an insane design. Let's see if they had it in one of the like, you know how you breeze over and it shows like a picture, but yeah, he's just a head like covered in sticks. Oh, right here.
That's nuts.
He's just a head on sticks.
Oh, look at that! Look at the name of that. Reefers of Grass.
Oh yeah, Reefer
Madness too.
Yeah.
I think with Poison Ivy, like I noticed even recently when I was looking through best Poison Ivy stories, a lot of the ones, now granted you have to understand CBR and all of them, I always take a grain of salt and whatever.
Yes,
right?
of course.
But
that's everyone.
Like, even just when I was in the shelf, like Poison Ivy has a series, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. And I'm not, they could be good, but I noticed it is a lot of female writers on the book. And just based on recent track record, and again, this is just, you know, it's like I'm just worried that they're going to be like Poison Ivy is like actually a good person. You know, it's one of my favorite depictions actually. What I liked about the Arkham is they kind of scaled up a lot of what was in Batman the Animated Series, and Poison Ivy is like the best ever. I would argue she's ever been in Arkham Asylum because she's like the sexiest she's ever been and the most terrifying. Like she is. If you listen to the audio tapes, she is horrifying.
Oh yeah.
She has no regard for human life. She has all these men worshiping her. She doesn't love them. And I think that's one of the things too, is I think the animated series did a fantastic job. The one that comes to mind for me. So I'll tell you what I like and dislike about the animated series.
Hold on. We're gonna get there. We'll get there in we go in like just the order here, and then when it gets to gotcha. Other depictions. So but no, I like where you're going. I think I know the exact episode. I think it has something to do with a basement.
I think it does.
Yeah.
That's chains great. And whips too, huh?
Yeah.
No. That's a different episode.
No, but that is something. Like she's definitely weaponized her sexuality by this point, and but either way, so it's she sees the Floronic Man. She notices that he's just a head on twigs. After striking a deal with him in the tunnels of Gotham, Ivy receives a trunk full of money to return samples of her DNA. Woodrow intends to combine her DNA with the child while flooding the streets of Gotham with high-grade marijuana. The purpose of this was to create a world economy run on hemp, to have their offspring control it. Batman intervenes. But is overcome by Woodrow's henchmen, Holly and Eva. However, Ivy turns on Floronic Man and lets Batman go fight the intoxicated maniac. In the end, Batman
legalize it. Batman legalize it.
Yeah, he's like, no one's getting high in my city. Batman decapitates the Floronic Man, and Ivy escapes. So I really don't want to get into no man's land, but she does exactly what you would assume she would do. I can kind of she gets kind of her own space. I'm pretty sure she probably finds like Gotham Botanical Garden and just grows it out, right? You know, but there's quite a bit. And also, No Man's Land is, I believe, the first time Harley Quinn showed up in comics. When did she get into DC Comics proper? Transition into comic books. Yeah, but those are all Elseworld. Okay, so it's just Batman, Harley Quinn. Either way, that's a character that I'm not looking forward to covering. Just
Which
because
character?
Harley Quinn, that's the one
Harley
who's
Quinn.
most brutalized by all these politics and stuff, because she used to be a very fun character, and now she's not. Hannibal Grimm, thanks for dropping in, guys. Remember, like, share, show everybody. We're talking about Poison Ivy today. So yeah, that's basically what she does. We'll eventually talk about No Man's Land and the Cataclysm. It's a huge storyline where a giant earthquake hits Gotham, and the U.S. government just basically deems it that, well, you're on your own. We're no longer sending aid or anything, and all the bridges get blown up, and Gotham basically reverts to like giant gang violence, and all the supervillains get their own armies, and Batman goes missing because he needed to come up with a contingency plan, and he comes back and he saves everything. After Gotham City is reopened to the public, the city council wants to evict her from the park. Yeah, so she took over a park and basically made it like her sanctuary. Let's keep going. I think we got enough to cover who she is. There's not really much else. Okay, New 52.
Oh god, New 52.
I
That
know
costume was diabolical.
Yeah, where they put the like the leather full body costume under the onesie.
That's when the wokeness started, and that's when I first started getting into comics. And immediately, like, I'm sixth grade, whatever, I'm getting into girls, and immediately they rip it all away from me. I'm like, no, come back.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yep. No, that's when I started getting back into comics.
And that's why my generation is gay.
It's true. We talked about last week the comic book code of authorities, and they were worried that Batman was turning people into homosexual. It turns out it was keeping people from being homosexual, because we had hot characters like Poison Ivy, and then they're like, well, what if we give her clothes? And now people don't know what gender they are. Very few people see these connections. I see them, but people don't come to me for all the answers. So in the New 52, Poison Ivy is recruited into a covert ops group known as the Birds of Prey. She shouldn't be in the Birds of Prey.
No,
she should be adjacent to the Birds of Prey, but no, not in it. And then dog's barking. Members of the group, they protest the Ivy's inclusion, citing her violent past and connections to various murders. These suspicions are proven correct when Ivy poisons the team and forces them to attack the corrupt companies she wants to destroy, until Katana apparently kills her. Let's just say this is when we start seeing her dating different women, becoming more of a lesbian character. Oh, friend of the channel.
Lesbians.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Malty.
You're friend of lesbians.
They can be friends of the channel too, as long as they let me watch. All those lesbians who don't like to share, not friends of the channel. Selfish. In January 2016, Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death. There's that awful costume. No one likes it.
So bad.
Series begins with Ivy attempting to go straight by returning to her science career under her human identity, Pamela ISELY. She joins the plant sciences department at the famed Gotham Botanical Gardens. She's always got some sort of tie to the Botanical Gardens. It's complicated when Lucia Cruz, Ivy's friend and mentor, is murdered via poisoning. Ivy investigates her murder whilst completing genetic engineering research begun by Cruz that culminates in the creation of two plant human hybrid children known as Rose and Hazel. With the help of Selena Kyle and fellow researcher Darshan, Poison Ivy finds that the Gotham Botanical Gardens are performing experiments using Ivy's research, which result in the creation of another human plant-based hybrid child known as Thorn. Okay. Ivy discovers the laboratory and rescues the child. Ivy raises Thorn, Hazel. Ivy raises Rose, Hazel, and Thorn, who grow to adult sizes at exponential rates, becoming young women within 35 weeks. When the girls sneak out to see Gotham City at night for the first time, they cause an incident at a strip club that gets the police involved.
What?
Leave the strip clubs alone.
And Ivy has to help them escape. Returning to the apartment, Ivy locks Hazel, Rose, and Thorn away so they will not leave again. She finds Dr. Eric Grimley, the chair of the Botanical Gardens Research Department, waiting for her. Grimley had been conducting experiments with Ivy's research to cure his own cancer. He had then murdered Louisa because she was suspicious of the experiment. Why would you be suspicious? It's like, I'm trying to cure my own cancer. What's wrong with that? I guess if it leads to like 3 plant human hybrids, I guess, yeah, you're lacking some sort of morality, but I don't even see how you get there. What do you got here?
What's going on?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't like that they make her like green skinned and
See, I don't mind
like,
that. I actually don't mind that.
Yeah, this is I agree. This is very fanfic art, but a lot of these comic books have this young adult.
I think Poison Ivy should have at least a hint of green in her skin. She doesn't have to, but I actually
I get it from the I get it from the aspect if you're going for the fact that she's kind of merged with plants, that the green coming from like the chlorophyll. I get that aspect, but the full green like this, I could see having like a little bit of a greenish hue.
I like this.
Of course you do.
Or like the Arkham games. The Arkham games had a good balance, I felt. She definitely had a green, but she was still clearly Caucasian. But here's the thing. I almost could see it, but the problem I have with it is, like Croc, I think there's limits. Like, I don't like him having a tail. But I like him getting more crocodile-like. I like the idea. So I could almost see Ivy going in that direction. The problem is they're pushing her more that way while also making her more and more human. I think you need to pick a lane. Is she losing her humanity, or is she acting? If she's losing humanity,
that's the big thing with Swamp Thing, right? Where he realizes that he isn't actually Alec Holland. He's just like the afterbirth of this terrible accident, and he's a plant that believes that he's Alec Holland. Well, once he realizes that, he starts getting further and further away from his humanity. Well, still he'll protect humans, but his primary assignment is to protect the green and to protect the plants. If you have a character who started out human, it should be that they're losing her humanity. You should have had her in a romantic relationship to start and have her drift away from that. That would be the correct way to write a character like that. That's You know, it's not, oh, she discovers her humanity just like when this clown lady is around. It doesn't make sense. Like we joked about it earlier. She, you know, she hates all humans and she loves all plants, but Harley's okay. Like it doesn't track. Although she is a woman. So, you know, it ain't easy being green. So I think we got most of it. Let's see, DC Universe. DC began the next relaunch of DC Rebirth. They opted to rebrand. Poison Ivy finds herself in a dream world. And the White Mercy entity, they're both created from the Black Mercy plant from Mongol. Oh, the Black Mercy is such a sweet idea. Well, nothing. I mean, she does get a lot of play though. Yeah, and then the Harley Quinn comic features Ivy as Harley's best friend and then lover. Great. Collected issues. She like I said, for a villain, she's got a lot, but I mean, look, you can tell when they, oh, this one might actually be interesting. Harley and Ivy meet Betty and Veronica. It's pretty funny actually. But yeah, you got Amy Chu, G.W. Wilson, you know, all of those collected editions. I'm all right. The activism. That's a lot of things that's missing too, is they don't have like the activist side. You know, she's an eco-terrorist of global importance. She's demonstrated that, you know, she can do good things, but she's really willing to go to any length to do bad things. Yeah, Hannibal gets it. Hey, baby, want to kill all humans? That's kind of what she is. But her powers have really kind of taken over. Ryu, also good to see you, brother. Hope you had hope your Christmas was great. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. But initially thought to have been transformed by human experiments, Isley is later to reveal to be gifted by the Green, an interplanetary force that grants her supernatural control over plant life, enhanced strength, stamina, the power to transfer poison through touch, complete immunity to all toxins and poisons, and the ability to protect mind-controlling pheromones, which is something that a lot of people get wrong now when they're writing her. You should have characters fighting over. I mean, she was able to even lock down Superman for for a point in time and have control over him. So she's powerful. You know, if you can mind control Superman, no, mind control is usually that, depending on who's doing it, can be one of Superman's weakness. He is kind of weak to magic and supernatural stuff, but that's still no oh, it even says it right here. The latter power at its full potential proves capable by controlling every person on Earth, including superpower beings. If her mind control spores are laced with kryptonite, Ivy can even affect and control Superman as well. That's not something that isn't noteworthy, okay? Superman usually is the end-all, say-all on what's powerful. Are there more powerful characters than Superman? Yes, but he is the standard. And
but again, not when it comes to humans overall. They're usually other sources, not necessarily humans, that are the foil to Superman.
Yes, absolutely. But
I'm saying that's where you have Poison Ivy being able to do that, puts her, when it comes to Superman, puts her at her higher level.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are humans that can take Superman, but they're usually magic oriented. Superman doesn't do well with magic. So like Zatanna could probably ward off Superman. I don't think she could defeat him, but she could definitely do, something. He just doesn't do well with magic. But she has the ability to control, mutate all forms of plant life to a molecular level, making it respond to her will and command. You see that in pretty much everything. Some versions of her character depict her more as a plant than a human, such as breathing carbon dioxide and undergoing photosynthesis. I don't mind any of this. She's always going to be the plant thing. Let's see. Poison Ivy is identified by Swamp Thing as being with the elemental mystical component, who's they called the May Queen. Ivy is able to communicate over great distances with this talent as she manifests in Vase of Roses, in Zatanna's dressing room. So yeah, so she can, if there's plants around, she can send you a message. It's it's pretty she's gotten extremely powerful over the years.
Yeah, I feel like she's Batman's most powerful villain.
By out of like
By
the
far.
standard rogues gallery, by like a wide margin, because she's the most
Which I like
supernatural.
personally. And that was, I guess, getting into like with the animated series, is that I felt like they really nerfed her in the beginning, kind of like they did with Zatanna. I like her being overpowered. I really like that.
Well, that's the thing, is if she's ever driven enough, she could definitely kill Batman. But she also realizes that like Batman's there to do something else. It's kind of like a Mr. Freeze thing. For the most part, Mr. Freeze just kind of want to be left alone. Poison Ivy wants to be left alone. It's only when their paths cross and they have, one wants a different outcome that they come to battle. I don't think either of them necessarily want to kill
she doesn't.
Batman.
I don't think have a vendetta against Batman necessarily.
No,
Batman just keeps interfering with her plans, which are usually bad. Although Batman,
now if she found out that Batman was Bruce Wayne, that would be a different thing, because she hates corporations and anybody, who's chopping down trees and stuff like that.
Of course, because again, she's from Seattle.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So I almost feel like she's like a bleeding heart, whatever, and I think it works for the character. Like it works for the character. That's what I think her value system would be, and it is.
No, it's perfect for her.
And her being a literal tree hugging hippie makes sense.
The tree hugging.
Poison Ivy is on the Gotham LAE, and she has glued her hand to the concrete, stopping traffic.
She's definitely protesting Starbucks right now.
Yes,
but not because she wants people to make more money. She's pissed off that people keep using coffee beans. But so romantic relationships, we'll get into this, and then we'll get into the other iterations of the character, and then we'll definitely deep dive into the animated series and Arkham, because those are probably the two best representations of the character. And other times they've gotten the character very wrong and really weird. There was one time, I think it was in the Batman, they basically made her like a 12-year-old girl, and
dude, there were some weird designs in that show, man.
Yeah, it's like don't make the former sex pot character a child. I really don't enjoy that at all.
Didn't they wasn't she tied with Batgirl in that show?
I think so.
Didn't they introduce Batgirl before Robin in that show?
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. But Ivy and Batman have worked together in achieving common goals and are frequently depicted as having a romantic relationship. Batman's attraction to Ivy is present in some way in several mediums in which the characters appear. There's always been a sexual tension between the two, most notably in their earlier canonical encounters, which makes sense. Even what Carmine Infantino said, Vaughn, you were here, but it was basically, they invented Batgirl, modern Batgirl for, the Adam West series. Catwoman was doing very well. They wanted another sexy character, and this is what they came up with, and it was like, and it worked.
Yeah, so, and only she in Total Moron would try and remove or downplay that element of the character. It's literally
well, she was a sex pot character, you know, like that's
literally
fine.
pot.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, no, that sells. And that's why the character sells. But I think with Hush, she is kind of petty in that she's not doing anything really plant related. She just wants to seduce Superman to take out and that's the thing that's been done with the character. I mean, the character can be used in a variety of ways. I feel like her main things are the plant related stuff and mind control.
Well, like I said, there's an aspect to her that sometimes they write it well and sometimes they don't. Is like she uses sex as a weapon. You know, she can kill you with a kiss, and she can pin people who are normally allies against each other with pheromones because they want to serve her. So in her first appearance, Ivy established is having an attraction to Batman and tries to convince Batman to join her side, and she creates love potions to ensnare him. In 1997 story Poison Ivy, Christopher Desjardins tries to kill Ivy, but Batman takes the bullet. Batman, who's wearing body armor, knocks him out. Ivy considers saving him from her death as proof that he loves her, though he responds that he doesn't know the meaning of the word, or that she doesn't know the meaning of the word. Her attraction confirmed in the widening gyre, but that's written by Kevin Smith, so we're not going to count anything.
It doesn't exist.
97. I heard that 97 movie is, or that 97 graphic novel is really good. That's on my that and Secret Origins are going to be.
Yeah, actually, I was going to check that out, and I'm actually going to check out if there's a Secret Origins omnibus because, like, I really need to pick that up.
Yeah, seriously, that is referenced so heavily. There's got to be one.
In the Pavane, which is something that was referenced earlier, while being interviewed as a potential candidate for the Suicide Squad, Pamela reveals to Inspector Stewart how she became Poison Ivy. When she heard about Batman, she instantly fell in love with him, believing him to be the perfect man, going as far as to make a love shrine to him. With her goal set, she moved to Gotham, created a costume, renamed herself Poison Ivy, and she began committing crimes with the purpose of getting his attention in hopes of them becoming the #1 crime couple. Unfortunately for Pamela, it didn't work out that way. And she was apprehended and sent to Arkham Asylum. And I'm sure that
became a lesbian.
I'm sure that helped her mental health amazingly. Because as we all know, Arkham Asylum, you go there, you get better, you go out.
Nothing. Has anyone been reformed by this asylum, by the way, like ever? Actually?
No, I can't think of any.
This is the worst asylum
like
ever.
The Great White Shark. Like he went in there as like a normal, like blue or white collar criminal, and he left like an insane serial killer because they sent a normal guy to Arkham.
Dude, it actually is the worst. It literally makes the people who go there are actually somehow made worse.
Yes. Well, because it's corrupt. It's as corrupt as Gotham.
It's called in Gotham, it's called job security for Batman.
Yeah.
Right.
They actually reform all of them, then Batman doesn't have a career.
Right. What is it?
And their biggest export in Gotham City is tourism because they're hoping they'll see Batman. They never do because he's always in the shadows.
Yeah.
But it's like
and if you do see Batman, you're having a real bad day. You're having the worst day of your life.
Sometimes to increase the people's chances of seeing Batman, they're like, all right, we got to let a villain loose.
Yeah. But
it's a scene from Jurassic Park. We'll just put the goat up and we'll attract the T-Rex.
Yep. Yeah, here's the thing where they start getting into the May Queen shit. That's going off like on. They started to get into this mysticism aspect of the character, and that tends to happen when you get writers like Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman, who brought in aspects like the Green, and of course Neil Gaiman's famous for rebooting a bunch of characters for his Sandman series, and you know how that ties to everything else. You know, you got Constantine in there, you have Lucifer Morningstar, you have so many different ideas, but you also have what are they called? They're not called the Eternals. They're called what is Dream a member of? Hold on, Dream, Sandman.
Nocturnals.
No.
Hallucinogens.
Dream- Oh, the endless. That's what they're called.
Oh.
They're called the endless. But you know, their ideas, their archetypes of everything else. They're just like every other mythology. There's a pantheon, right? And you know, comic books are very much America's pantheon. But you know that we can get into that at a different time. Either way, also Shadow of the Bat has some of the best comic book covers ever. They were always
Brian Stelfreeze, right?
yeah, it was and what's his face? Kelly Jones would do a lot of them as well. You know, the art on the covers were always so much better than like the actual comics themselves. It's immensely so, where you're like, when does this scene happen in the book? And it never does, but it was always so dope. And you would see them on the comic book stand, like at like the pharmacy or wherever, you know, you're walking back and you're like, oh man, I gotta buy this. You know, they're really good at eye catching. So so there's a bunch of times where she's liked Batman, and it's implied. Long Halloween, there's like a 3-month period where she's basically taken over Bruce, and I love how
she took over Bruce.
And she's like making love to him. She's living at Wayne Manor, and I love how Sale and Loeb like depicted it, because the more he kind of got like under her charm, they would have like vines growing on his chest.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes you would see them like sticking out of his shirt. Harley Quinn, we get it. Damaged women being damaged together, talking about how damaged they are, and sometimes they kiss.
Pillow fights too?
What'd you say?
Pillow fights too?
Yes. She is ranked out of the top 100 best comic books. She's ranked 64. She's ranked 21st as out of the 100 sexiest women in comics. I would even put her higher in 2021. She's got to be top 10, I would say.
Oh yeah.
But let's see, in other media, live action, she appears in Gotham. Like this version is Ivy
Dude,
Pepper.
you went through 3 different actors for Poison Ivy?
Yeah, because I think like she gets older, right?
That makes sense. Child Ivy, you can't have that.
No. Animation. Again, look at this version. I don't like this. This is when she appears in the new Batman Adventures. Every character in the new Batman Adventures gets a downgrade. Like how she looks in the original anime. She looks younger, but like
lower.
This is really when they were trying to push like the she's an imp thing herself.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Like when they have her in the original animated series, where she's kind of like a pinup girl bombshell, old Hollywood movie star.
She looks like an old Hollywood star, even down to the way she talks.
Yeah. So she appears in the Batman. This version is a teenage environmental. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Get to the DC animated universe. This is by far the best depiction of her, and then the Arkham universe as well. But they establish she's kind of like a counterpoint to Catwoman who at the time they were trying to very much make like an animal activist. They had that obsession with cats. I'm pretty sure that was like a bleed over from Batman Returns, where they had that like mystic crap happen, and she actually has a lot more like cat things involved. But they really tried to make Selena Kyle an animal activist. I never understood that. But in this, the plant thing was there.
Catwoman, I don't see her actually like caring that deeply about cats.
No, she's
the same way
she's
Batman
Catwoman.
cares about bats. Like,
no, like cat burglar. That's just where that came from. There's no.
It's not that deep.
Yeah, especially being a golden age comic book character. That's exactly what they were trying to imply, and that's exactly what they did. But so what was that episode that you wanted to talk about?
House and Garden
Mm-hmm.
is the best Poison Ivy episode. The best. Do you agree?
That's oh, there you go. Hold on. Let's yeah, that's a much better.
Yep, there's the Batman animated series.
Yep.
Poison Ivy.
Oh my god, so good.
And yeah, and she even had like the wrist crossbow, like
that was cool.
And anything
It
that
was
she
a
did,
bit too grounded in some areas, but dude, House and Garden, the final episode featuring Poison Ivy as the main antagonist, and it is the best one. It is. Do you remember that one?
Is that the one where she has the family?
Yes.
Yes. That's one of my favorite
that is
episodes
like one of the best episodes of the entire series. Yes. Dude, it's so good. It's so like that one. I think that's Poison Ivy's humanity done well, where it's almost like she doesn't know how to be human anymore. She can't even she's a gorgeous character. She literally can't have a family because she just doesn't. She's a control freak. She's likes plants more than people. She has to, instead of having she can't even have a normal, despite being gorgeous, she can't even have a normal family because she's so fucked in the head. And it kind of is heartbreaking in a way, but it's also really, it reminds me of a Goosebumps episode too. Or
it would Stay Out of the Basement.
That's what I was about to say. It
Yes.
reminds me of that. It came out around the same time, didn't it? Hang on.
Yeah, within like 3 or 4 years of each other for sure.
Let me see.
It's also like the
Stay Out of the
idea of
Basement.
of the pod people, and even what would you call it? Body snatchers, invasion of the body snatchers. Like that idea of like people coming out of plant pods is nothing new in science fiction.
No, but it's done with the character. That's one of the things about Batman, though, is they'll take things that are seen other places and put the Arkham Batman twist on it.
Do you know why she did? You know why she did? Why she? So, well, basically,
it's been years since I've seen the episode, but
they were studying Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy gets out, and she's claiming to be rehabilitated, and she's married, and she looks like she has a storybook family with, a husband who loves her, an older son who's about Dick's age, and then a younger son. There might have been 3 boys, but I think it was just 2 boys. And then later you realize that she's growing them out of pods in her basement, and they have a short life cycle. So they will start as the son, grow into the older son, then eventually grow into the husband, and then wither. And sometimes they turn at the very end stage, they turn into like these monster people. But that she was just doing that because she wanted a life. But another good thing that the animated series was awesome at was having like these really heavy themes, and then just kind of like sneaking them in there. The reason that she did it is because she realizes she wanted a normal life, but she did have metahuman characteristics. The immunity to toxins, all that stuff. Another thing that I really liked is it wasn't supernatural. There was nothing to do with the green. She was a genius in botany, right? So like, you know, like a lot of times when Batman would beat her, he would just like throw her into her chemistry set, and then like a giant plant would grow and like grow around her, and she would be like incapacitated, right? Well, with this, oh, also Furious Dan, and I don't know if I said hello to Sebrew, but it was good to see you as well, sir. Yeah, friend of the channel, Furious Dan. But you know, she has this immunity to toxins. They downplay it a little bit. She says it rendered her infernal, so she couldn't have a.
Oh, that's right.
So she couldn't have a family.
Hey, you're being called out by Rick on your phrasing.
Oh no,
Batman would beat her
ass. When Batman would punch this woman in the face, which is sad because it's a beautiful face. No, but I'm saying that's a really heavy topic for a children's cartoon. And they handled it so well. So when she decided, and you said she is a control freak, that she couldn't have something, she went to what she knows and she grew her own family. And it really isn't until Batman and Robin kind of intervene. She's not doing anything illegal. Well, I mean, she's doing like experimentation and kind of like playing God, but it's just a regular. She's trying to have a regular family. She's not having them go out and commit crimes or anything like that. It's only when they kind of intervene that she unleashes these monsters on it. It raises like a good question. Was like, was she really in the wrong in that episode? Because all she was just trying to do is have some semblance of a normal life, where, you know, that's something that she was incapable of having. She did go to her own means of having it, but I don't think what she did was entirely wrong. She wasn't hurting anybody. Yeah, so she had the crossbow. She doesn't necessarily control plants as much. It's more like a chemistry. You know, she's good at breeding special plants. They say right here, in the new Batman Adventures. No, let's take her down. Oh, hotness. In the new Batman Adventures, she's revamped to look more plant-like, supporting a light green skin, which the light green skin, that's about as like light and as green as I want her to look. That's about as green as she should get. Where it's almost.
I don't mind necessarily all that stuff. I really don't.
Yeah, no. Here's the question though, because you know she's supposed to be like seductress of men. Like you don't. There is a green pallor to her, but she's almost pale, almost giving like this alabaster, unobtainable beauty look that like a lot of women kind of like go for, especially like Japanese women. There's like this real thing, you want to look like as pale as possible to like look like a doll or something like that. She's almost kind of mummified in this perfect frame, and you don't realize like all like the damage that she's gone through and everything like that. If you want to go full plant, go full plant. That's fine. I particularly like that, where her mutation has made her kind of like pretty in this aspect.
I mean, I don't know. I'm open to the green, honest, like that image, and you're like, oh, that looks like, I guess because she was just drawn well. I'm not necessarily like saying I prefer it, but I don't mind the green skin personally. As long as
I said it looks terrible, not because this is a terrible design. It's just this is such a better design. You know, like you have this. The animation in Batman the Animated Series is just better than the new Batman Adventures. They were trying to streamline it, because you now have this expanded universe with like Superman the Animated Series. They were gearing up for Justice League. They didn't have time to put this amount of detail in every cell. So instead you get this. It's not terrible. It's just not as good.
See, yeah, no, it is. And there's the only The most of the designs are just not better in the new Batman Adventures. But we talk. This is a point we touch on in every episode, and it remains true in every episode. I think, one of the other things, like the constant need to redeem the character, that she has that, because there's almost always like a villain, Batman villain tries to reform arc. And again, I really want to get back into reading Batman. But it's a thing, and I think that is one of the best ones ever, House and Garden. And I actually looked it up. That episode did come out after the Goosebumps book. So it's possible that they read that and went, let's do that with Poison Ivy. Came out 2 years after.
Okay.
Again, kids, everyone was reading Goosebumps in the 90s, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I personally think they did that. That's my head. I'm gonna just see. You know what? I'm curious if anyone's drawn this connection.
Here, we can just what? Okay, Batman. And
House and Garden, stay out of the basement.
Series.
Let's
well,
see.
I'm just saying. House. Garden.
To be a creative combination of the title. Oh wait,
because I'm positive there's a Twilight Zone episode that's kind of the same thing as well.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure this is, like I said, people have drawn connections to the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Stay out of the bait. Yeah, no, I'm confident that even if Invasion of the Body Snatchers is again another one that they've drawn connections to. That's probably the more likely, but it's so close and it came out so close, and it's possible. Listen, I've written stuff and then something will come out while I'm writing it, and I'm like, are you kidding?
Oh, for sure.
So that happens, but either way, it's still.
Oh, I mean, it's just the creative monster in general, right? There's plenty of times where I'm writing a song, and then like another song pops in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, am I copying that, or am I just influenced by that? You know what I mean? It just happens.
So I think the question I have here is, do you guys feel that Poison Ivy can be redeemed as a character?
I think in a lot of aspects she already has.
How do you think they've gone too far, though?
I do think that they've gone too far, because there has to be that eco-terrorist aspect about it. You know what? She should kind of be like Magneto.
That would be an interesting depiction.
Well, you know, they have their morals, and they have, you know, what they think the world should look like. And if you're on that side of that argument, then they'll utilize you. And if you're not, you're in the way. And, you know, now, I mean, Magneto has been utilized very, very well in certain times. And then there's other times where, you know, I kind of like disagree. But there's always that zealotous aspect about them. When you add the green and all, you know, these other aspects, or like the powers is fine, but when you add like that purpose of, oh no, she's not this true believer. She's been anointed by this force of nature that allows her to be this avatar of nature. Well, then at some point in time, regardless of your thing, something in the supernatural buildup of the world deemed her to be righteous. No, she needs to be righteous in her own mind, and that's where the insanity comes from. That's why she's a villain. That's why she's flawed. If you have the green anointing her and giving her this power, well, there's no arguments there, because Mother Nature herself deemed Pamela Isley to be a worthy avatar of her power. So obviously she's doing something right if nature herself agrees with her. You know what I mean? It takes the self-righteousness and the flaw away from her, because she's been anointed by nature. That she needs to be an eco-terrorist. She needs to be blowing up paper companies because they're chopping down too many trees. She doesn't care about all the jobs that it's going to cost or the people that she might hurt. And then meanwhile, you know, sometimes they have her doing that and then going, well, and still having her be the avatar, you know, an avatar for the green. And then, so Mother Nature, like the spirit of life, thinks it's okay to just blow random people up. Or, you know what I mean? It adds all these different arguments that I don't necessarily. Yeah, but there's a reason that Khonshu picked Moon Knight. You know what I mean? And so you can ask, like, was Mark Spector crazy before he became the Avatar, or, you know, did his mind shatter because he has to answer to a god? You know, that's like a nature versus nurture, cause and effect argument. But you're also saying that you've had this eco-terrorist, so, and then all of a sudden we discover that Mother Nature, or the green, you know, the avatar of plants, basically anointed her as like one of her chosen people. Is that now Jason Woodrow's one too, and so is Alec Holland. They're saying it was like, well, you've chosen that you care about plants more than humanity. Is that all it takes? Or are you saying that all of her methods are good because, like, you're a force of nature? Like, that's an argument, and I feel like it's an interesting argument. You can have it, it can be inherently interesting. I just think it's not handled that great. So, like, if you're gonna have her be an eco-terrorist, have her be an eco-terrorist, but there should be righteous reasons behind her eco-terrorism, not just because, oh, this company chops down too many trees, or this space used to be a spot where this one particular flower grew, and because you put a building here, this flower went extinct. I don't think that's enough to justify ending human life, but that would be like, I'm an advocate for what, the red, right? Like, not the green. But it just doesn't seem. Swamp Thing is a better example, because Swamp Thing will still save people, and Swamp Thing, as much as he doesn't dwell in like the human realm, like when he intervenes, it's usually on the side of good.
Right.
We primarily make this character a villain. So, like, are you advocating that, like, plant life is actually evil, and they want, you know, the end game is to have just an entire planet of plants and nothing more? Like, it muddies the waters, you know. Instead of just making her, she's misguided, she got powers from an experiment, and now she advocates for plants. She's not backed up by the spirit of plants. She just identifies more as a plant than she does a human being. Like, like I said, she really should be more of a Mr. Freeze, you know, a Magneto, one of these people who are like idealists, where in a perfect world, Victor would just have Nora, and that would be, he doesn't care what he has to do to achieve that. In a perfect world, you know, mutants wouldn't be persecuted, or mutants would, people would serve under mutants. You know, Magneto doesn't care how that's achieved. You know, he doesn't care about that. You know, they're just true believers in a certain cause. Never once did, like, the god of mutants come down and go like, you know what, Magneto, you're right. I'm gonna give you, yeah, like, it just seems like. But that's saying that all gods are magnanimous and all gods have good intentions. They don't. You know,
and this is where it gets kind of the fact that we're talking about that. Like, I think it's cool to tie it into the DC universe or whatever, but I think we have to remember at the end of the day that she was meant to be a Batman villain. I think obviously Batman the Animated Series grounded her more, but I don't know. We can always debate like this cosmic or world significance or earthly significance of the character. I feel she should be powerful, but I don't think she should necessarily be a chosen one, right? Like, she's the result of an accident.
That's what I'm getting at. There's a thing that they used to do in comics, and guys like oh God, what's his name? He's one of my favorites, and I'm spacing out on his name. And I just liked him just because of how he was in comics. The New Frontier,
Darwin Cook.
Darwin Cook. So a lot of one of the reasons that Darwin Cook had problems getting into comics, even though he had success all throughout his career in different aspects, notably like fashion and like magazines,
I didn't know that.
and design. Yeah, no, he actually, one of the biggest pay downgrades that he ever took was coming to DC Comics, but he wanted to write for DC. But believe it or not, was him coming from like fashion magazines and to comics, because he was making all this money through design. But I forget what it's called exactly, but it was his art style. His art style didn't fit with what was going on in 90s comics. He would have this very and he eventually worked up so he actually did a lot of work on Batman Beyond, so much so and we were talking about design, he actually did the opening sequence for the show. He did it on like his computer.
Really?
Yeah, that's all Darwin Cook. And but so he could do like these one shots, and obviously guys like Bruce Timm liked him, but he ended up having a fallout with Bruce Timm for other reasons. But like, you would think that like an artist like Darwin Cook would fit very well into the type of design that Bruce Timm had imagined. You know what I mean? He just has that I want to call it like a celebration of the golden age, right? Where it was like you almost have these romanticized version of golden age art. Everybody looks like a pinup. Everybody, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like Art Deco comic art, and well, at the time, DC wasn't really big on that, but the biggest thing is, so they would have, I forget exactly what it's called, but Marvel had it, DC had it. It was basically, it was a card, and this is how you draw Batman every single time that you're drawing Batman. People, they've since done away with it. There's still, this is how Batman's costume is going to look this year, but sometimes you'll see some variations, especially with like Elseworlds or one shots or mini series. But for the most part, in the main DC continuity, when you draw Batman, this is what Batman looks. It's like a card they would give you. You know what I'm talking about here, Vaughn?
Yeah. Wasn't it Jose Luis Garcia Lopez did those?
Either way, it was to maintain continuity in the art, so it didn't matter who was drawing Batman. He looked like Batman, and every single time he drew Batman. Well, Darwin didn't draw like that, so he had issues getting in, and he also didn't want to. He didn't want to get away from his style just because he probably could have drawn those things. I'd argue that a lot of his stuff was probably better because that man knew how to really put action on the page, right? Like he had a cinematic eye.
Mm-hmm. He was a great storyteller.
Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah.
Well, no, Rick, that's the thing. So the green doesn't recognize or care about what's good or evil. Good or evil is beyond the concept of the green, because the concept of the green is just the force of plant life. It's beyond our realm of thinking, because it's its own force of nature. It was like there's no good or bad in the Speed Force either. The Speed Force is just speed. what's that line from the Avengers? Like an ant has no quarrel with the boot. Like we have no idea what these like entities think because they're beyond our concept of morality. Morality is something that people come up with. You know, that these are universal, eternal concepts. You know, what is the concept of death to a mortal?
What the hell?
A mortal, it's bad.
Sorry, I just noticed this because I was looking up Joker's Asylum because that was a series. There's a Poison Ivy issue, dude. I didn't know that. You guys know Arvid Nelson, Band of the Crow? He wrote a Joker issue. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Wrote,
Either way, we're still on the animated series part. I like that they brought her down because one, Batman has to defeat her in an episode.
Yeah.
Two, it humanized her more and it made her objectives pretty clear. So are all the characters perfect in Batman the animated series? No, but you got the archetype of the character correct, and you got the heart and soul of the character correct. You can understand every single character's true motivations. Clayface is another good one, and that's another character that has since tried to they've tried to rehabilitate. But you know, when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize what you see anymore, like that eventually has like huge ramifications on your psyche. Like Basil Carlo is a man who's just lost because like he doesn't know who he is anymore. He's played so many characters and you know the actor aspect, so he's gotten into the idea of being somebody else so many times, and he's a shapeshifter who can't remember really his original form. They combined all that shit with Matt Hagen, and they made it a dumbed down version because those were the two probably most prominent iterations of the character at the time. So they combined them. But what you got is an amalgam of what the truest character is. I assume that's what they're going to do with the Clayface movie coming out because they named the character Matt Hagen, even though Basil Carlo is the one who is the actor.
It's an actor. Yeah.
You know, so that there's things that they do with that. With Poison Ivy, you get all of it, but like you don't have all the supernatural aspects. Like I said, it's distracting. It's great. There's art. There's writers. Like I said, Neil Gaiman was good at it. Alan Moore was really good at it. And you know, God bless Alan Moore. Alan Moore could write a story like that and then still leave it open-ended. So the artist or the writer who has to write after Alan Moore still has something to work with. Grant Morrison is not very much like that. When Grant Morrison, you know, grabs a hold of things, you're going to have a hard time continuing where he left off because he has all this high concept nonsense. Not to say that he's not brilliant in his own aspect. I just don't think he thinks about passing the story off. Like when someone tells you, hey, you're going to write for 30 issues, he wrote within those confines and then he left it open-ended so someone else could pick up the mantle and continue the series. There's a lot of writers who can't do that. There's a lot of writers who can. But you know, like, but not a lot of the great ones can. Alan Moore could. But the thing is about the animated series was it didn't matter because none of the continuity matters. It was continuity onto itself, and it took everything that came before it, and it either stripped away all the nonsense. And when you have, you know, at the time, 75 years of continuity to weed through, that's a lot of nonsense. I mean, I think our longest episode was Clayface. That there's 7 different iterations of that character.
7?
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was 4.
No, we went over 7 of them.
Wow.
You know.
All right.
So you have to do that with Poison Ivy. You're going to have to do that to make this a character one, that can be defeated by Batman, and two, that's explainable to all audiences, because not everybody. I got into.
I don't think she's that difficult. She was, for whatever reason, experimented on, whether and she's basically obsessed. So let's boil the character down to her core. So in my eyes, Poison Ivy, hard to describe to someone. She was obsessed with plants, and after some abuse, she ended up basically becoming one with plants, having plant-related powers, and now she manipulates people because she basically hates humanity, or at least most of humanity. There's a deep, I argue there's a deep longing beneath, but she's still so angry at humanity. And that's kind of why she loves the plants. She's never been done wrong by them. And so she is like an extremist activist, an eco-terrorist who sees humanity because she was abused by men. She feels she can use and abuse them too, now that she has her pheromones and her seductive powers. And she can also do it with women too, as we've seen with Catwoman, right, in Batman Hush.
Yep.
And so she manipulates humanity to achieve her own ends. Ultimately, if she were to get what she wants, I think she would kind of just stay away from everything in the green somewhere. But part of me feels like she wouldn't, because I feel like, do you think she would if she could get away with that? Because I don't know, because I think she's a terrorist at heart.
I mean, we glossed over it. We glossed over it, right? Well, and there's parts that you missed. So when she got out of Gotham, the first thing she found was a barren island, and she turned it into a new Eden. Just a new garden. Like when No Man's Land happened, she found a park, and she turned it into like basically a rainforest where all these different plants were growing, and she held dominion over that. And you would either go to her going like, hey, I got a village of people that I'm responsible for. We got nothing to eat. And she would either give you like baskets of fruit, but if you went in there unannounced, you're going to be crucified on vines. She was eminent in her domain. She's one with the plants. That doesn't matter, because in a world, in Emerald said it best, why would you go to a concrete jungle to try to establish another jungle? The problem is, she's an eco-terrorist. So she views a big city like Metropolis or Gotham as a stink mark on the planet, because that's the place that humans have carved out for themselves. That's not natural.
I think, like, let's say she lives on an island, because that's here, from what I've read, that doesn't end well, from what I've heard.
No,
that's the Poison Ivy graphic novel, right? But I imagine personally that it's kind of like, this is going to sound weird, but I notice I reference this guy a lot, but I think there's so many ways it intersects. It's almost like, okay, let's say the Jonestown Paradise worked out. Would it, like, no, he would still find a way to screw it up. And I think it's the same thing with Ivy. Like, she's so mentally unstable, and her eco-terrorists, at the end of the day, she's gonna be like, oh, this island is perfect. I want more of the world to be like this. She's gonna want to conquer. She's gonna want to expand, because she can't help it. It's an itch that needs scratching. She can't just be left alone, because she's so bitter about how she feels, whether it's Dr. Woodrue, even if she killed him, that lingering feeling of wanting to get back at the world.
You're already disproving your own point. So this is why the animated series did it perfect. This is why Arkham, which we haven't even gotten to yet, did it perfect. There is that need to be isolated, right? Because there's a reason that, like, abused dogs sleep very well. And if you can tell that a dog's, and it's not all dogs, but like, you can tell that an animal has been abused, a lot of the times they'll sleep against a wall. That wall has never harmed them. That wall has never done it. That wall won't attack them. And then nothing's going to sneak up behind you because you have the wall. It's a safety thing. With Poison Ivy, it's kind of the same thing. She was brutalized by a man, and humanity gave her very little to work with. But she took more solace in being a plant than she was more comfortable with plants than anything. The reason that it works is because you stripped all of the green and stuff out of it. I'm talking about for the animated series, that works really, really well. And you can explain that character. You get to the heart of that character. If you want to get into the green and all of those high concept things, then read the comics. That's what that's for. That was supposed to get people into the comics and sell more. It's saying that you can get this character and like it's a simple character. It's not, because we've been sitting here asking what this character truly is, and it's really because it's inconsistent writing, and multiple iterations. Like it's the same thing. I know I keep going back to Magneto. Magneto in the animated or in the original X-Men animated series, not so much X-Men 97, which did a great job of kind of like forwarding the character. But like in the original series, Magneto was just kind of like this true believer, and he was on the other side of what Xavier was trying to preach. That's it. But that, if you're trying to tell people who that character is, that's a good place to start. That that encapsulates enough of the character to do that. I also believe the animated series did that. And now we'll finish up with this, the Arkham series. I think that the Arkham series did a wonderful job of showing that is, but every single time she's left her own devices, whether it be like City or Night, or even Asylum, she gets her space and she fills it up with plants, and she just becomes in control of that domain.
But my whole thing is she's never had that kind of control for long, and I think the reason that they always want to stop it is not because they're afraid of a plant biome. It's because we know she's going to want to expand it. We know she's going to want to do some crazy stuff.
Oh, of course,
she can't be trusted.
That's
not like Batman has to destroy the plants because someone as powerful and maniacal as her needs to be stopped before she expands.
That's the problem with any zealot in an ideology is when do you stop? Like that. They say that up. It's the best part about being far left is you get your guns back. You get your guns back because you want to enforce your ideology on other people. You're not content with I got my. It was like, was that in Seattle where they had Chaz and then they named it to Chat? If you didn't think that was going to grow, that was their term. They want the rest of the world to see to look through their eyes. It's an impossibility. Okay. Judas Iscariot was a zealot.
And like, let's also be real. Like, so she wants control in her life. I've thought about this. She can control plants, right?
Yeah.
Has there ever been an instance where plants have overthrown her? I don't think so. Has there? Not that I've seen. My thing
in the shows, she's usually foiled by Batman, like dumps over her chemistry set, and then like a tree grows really big, and like she's wrapped up, and that's how they arrest her. There's things like that, but that's the thing. Plants aren't animals. Plants aren't people. Plants. And if you look at the natural progression of things, plants always win in the end. Okay. Have you ever watched like one of those shows? What would happen if like people were gone or where plants will reclaim things very quickly. They will break down skyscrapers just because the roots are growing into the concrete, and it will break everything down. At the end of the day, she's fighting this inevitable battle. Plants will inherit the earth after mammalian life ceases to be, because plants will endure. Like they're fed by the sun. They drink from the rain, and they can grow in impossible places. They will break down skyscrapers. They will break up city streets, and trees will grow from that concrete because of the dirt below. So she's fighting this thing that's almost inevitable. It's just like she can't wait until the end of the world. It's like, oh, this city is built where a forest used to be. I assure you, when people move on and that city is disregarded, plants will come back. So it's almost like her ideology is flawed, because it's, people can sit, comfortably in a place for like 70 years. And, like, that's why you have children. That's why you forward things on. The human lifespan compared to that of a tree, a tree can grow to be hundreds, if not thousands of years old, if untouched and in the regular, nature cycle, as long as it's not being screwed with. The plants, trees don't really have like a cycle of life. It's usually outside interference or a change in climate, which also happens naturally, that does away with plants. I mean, all plants die, but they spread more seeds and they grow more plants. They have a different life cycle than humans do. It's so to identify with that is to reject your humanity entirely. You're only here for a couple of years, and it's not even a scratch on the years that trees have seen. That's why a lot of people get bugged out. Like when you see that a tree has been around for hundreds and thousands of years, people usually protest on cutting those down. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's like, what right do you have to do something like that? Most people are on board. She's just an extremist. She would like all people, I guess, to be, living in teepees like Native Americans, and it doesn't make sense for a modern society. She doesn't think about a modern society. She only sees life through her eyes. Ra's al Ghul is another person like that. It was like, well, I got this idea for a perfect world. We'll have to kill half the population to do it, but like, it would be a lot better if I did. Well, I don't know if his argument holds sand, but if he tried it out and it worked, that's great. But you also did away with half of the population. That, those are ideals. Those are things that make that character great. I think Poison Ivy's is harder to explain to people in just a couple of sentences. Here, a good example, you could probably give Two-Face's origin in 2 sentences. He was a former prosecutor who got maimed with acid, and he had an identity crisis, and now he commits crime. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry who the character of Harvey Dent is. Now, there's plenty of stories that elaborated on and gave you more hints on why Harvey might have been like this or why Harvey turned to crime. But you can solve his. I don't think you can do that with Pamela Isley, simply because she's involved with the Green. I think the Green is probably her biggest detriment on being a character.
See, I don't even consider that. That was when was that added?
In '88 when Neil Gaiman.
Oh, was it? Okay, then
the same thing that you said you wanted to read. That makes her more interesting. And like I said, I don't think that necessarily hurts the character. I think it hurts the character when you're trying to show
the Green
people what
just means what she's connected to, because she should be able to control plants and shit.
Yes, but that also means that she's like anointed by plants. She doesn't act like Swamp
Not
Thing
necessarily.
Does.
If you could just come up with some comic book bullshit that she's just like connected to, like kind of the same way Magneto isn't anointed by magnetism, he just can control it because he just
you're making my argument for me. I'm saying because the absolute avatar of the Green, right, is probably, everyone would argue that it's Swamp Thing, right?
Yeah.
Swamp Thing, at the end of the day, when pressed, when something is going against the green, and Swamp Thing still has things where he pities humanity. Now it's dangerous to go venturing into Swamp Thing's like area. Like, you don't come in unannounced. You need someone probably like John Constantine or someone to have parlay with him. You know what I mean? He's since grown that much as a character. Poison Ivy didn't start out that way. She was just an eco-terrorist. You know what I mean? She would commit. Swamp Thing doesn't go up and, you know, burn down cities because they chop down trees. Swamp Thing speaks for the trees.
To me, so I'll tell you how I choose to see her. I think she's an eco-terrorist with a lot of power and connections, but she's at the end of the day, in her heart, an eco-terrorist. She might have more of a heart than certain eco-terrorists, but at the end of the day, her bleeding heart is sharp, and there's a reason it's bleeding. You know, that's my interpretation of the character.
Yeah, you can't get deep with a lot of characters like this. And like I said, it's all also Emerald.
Yeah.
Shut up, man. We're trying to talk about Poison Ivy. No, but what do you?
No, you guys had the good conversation going back and forth.
No, but I'm saying you're outside looking in. You're not always. What do you think? What do you know? Like, I think I establish enough who this character should be, but there's also this supernatural thing about this.
I don't think it's that much of a contradiction. I really don't.
I don't think it's a contradiction, bro. What I'm saying is it limits the character now, and it also, when you're trying to move forward with the character, just like we talked about, like, it almost doesn't make sense when she's having like a relationship with Harley and like lesbian relationship, or even liking Batman. Once you become like an avatar of the green.
Oh, that I get what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that is a contradiction then a little bit.
Yeah, no, because you should be stemming farther and farther away from humanity. Swamp Thing doesn't care for mortal affairs. The green is eternal. And
yeah,
you know,
I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, I feel so. I guess I would say that I think deep down, it's almost like a coping mechanism. Like she withdraws into plants more because they haven't hurt her the way humanity has. But deep down, she wants a good relationship. She wants that bat dick.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, like, there should be more conflict within the character.
I agree. But we got to make her a lesbian.
I mean, overall, to go into a more of a metahuman type aspect of her character, I think does limit a little bit. She's more of an antisocial individual, and that's why she goes towards the plants. It's her antisocial nature, and that's why it's the complete lack of humanity. And yeah, it does then open her up to being an eco-terrorist. Because I mean,
and them trying to make her a happy relationship.
Again, you're proving my point.
Quinn.
Instead of exploring her sexuality when she's transcending humanity, now is not the time to do that. Like, now,
not even that. It's like, she's in a happy lesbian relationship with Harley Quinn. She can't have that.
Well,
they're both
why? Well, they're like I said, they're both women who were damaged by men. I mean, and I'm sure if you were going to have a first boyfriend, the Joker is probably going to do a number on you, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the character, you know. Like,
but it says more about Harley Quinn than anything. That's who she picks.
Well, and obviously, you know, they took a traditionally sexy character that men enjoyed,
would want to fix,
then you had these feminist writers who wanted to do that. It sends it in a trajectory that doesn't make sense. Okay, her internal battles should be like, you know what, I have these feelings towards Harley Quinn, but I'm not a person anymore. I'm a plant. I'm the May lady, or whatever the fuck, you know, they bespoke, you know, they gave that title to her, like, I'm the May Queen. My responsibility is now beyond the mortal realm because I've taken up this responsibility of the green, but like, she makes me laugh. Okay, they had the same thing with Swamp Thing and what's her face? What the main bad guy's niece? Doesn't matter. There was a human that still intrigued him enough to want to hold on to his humanity. The conflict of being that and then trying to evolve into something more, that's the conflict. You're looking at being an avatar of a force of nature into the conflict of still wanting to hold on to your humanity. That's her argument now because you've made her an avatar of the green. That's why the green limits the character, is because this person is going to ascend into godhood or demigodhood or being an avatar of this certain force of nature. You've already introduced that. No one gives a fuck who you're dating anymore. It's like, it's the same thing when they made like when they made Tim Drake like bi-curious and was like, this guy jumps off of rooftops and fights ninjas and fights supervillains. Who gives a shit who he goes home to? Okay, like it was like, as long as he's getting the job done, that's the part why people read comics. They want to see Robin fight ninjas. They want to see Red Robin fight ninjas. They don't, the sexuality aspect, that's something that you explore if you're doing like a character study. You've now made this character transcend humanity. You have to focus on that. You can't do that. Now, you can do that with Harley Quinn for sure. Where like, I was dating this clown who used to beat the shit out of me and is probably, one of the most dangerous people on the planet. And then I have this lady who just wants to build a giant garden. She seems so much peaceful. She just wants to be alone and just build a giant garden. I'm intrigued by this piece. I'm into her. It would be more interesting to have Poison Ivy not be interested at all. Or, you know what I'm saying? Was like, you have this idea.
I mean, I think it can be done. I don't want to say the relationship can't work. Maybe I haven't read the right stuff.
I'm not trying. I'm trying to justify it right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can do these things. I'm just saying the writing for these two characters in their relationship are so poor. And the problem is everybody comes in, they try to do their new continuity with it, that it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to having it. Like, you're having someone literally ascend from humanity and be an avatar for like plants. And then you have a girl who used to have like a really, really bad boyfriend.
Well, I think ultimately what we have is Poison Ivy has like serious potential as a villain, not just in the DC universe, but with Batman. And it's a matter of, I think, to me, I feel good talking about this, that she's such an interesting character. She's one of my favorite Batman villains. She could work in smaller scale stories. She can work in bigger scale stories. And because of that, you're always going to have things that are kind of ups and downs. But I think she has so much room to, no pun intended, to grow as a character. I think she's easily earned her place as one of the best Batman villains ever.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, we'll wrap it up here.
Her being the most powerful Batman villain, I love that.
I will give you that. I think she is definitely the most powerful Batman villain. Final thoughts on the character, Emerald.
One that I wish gets explored a little bit more.
Yeah.
Better live action would be nice. If they would get rid of this whole with her, this going lesbian and being some kind of feminist icon, that doesn't play. And leave her as a good character that is just I want to be left alone, but I'm doing stuff that just keeps getting interrupted. I like that, where it just Batman gets involved just because, well, happenstance, and then comes into it, and nothing that's really coming out overall. But downplay the eco-terrorism crap.
Really?
Oh, see, that's something that I'm direct opposite
I
with you
disagree.
on that.
No, I think the reason I'm saying that is just because of all the freaking eco-terrorism that we already have going on, and the stuff that is just for me right now at this point is just seeing it in real life, this type of eco-terrorism and stuff like that. It's getting really irritating and annoying. So it doesn't make for a good character for me.
See, to me, I think that's what makes her good. Is we all know someone. We're like, oh, you're one of those, and that's kind of why.
Oil.
It's like, one of those people that says we just want to be left. I think she's the kind of person that says she wants to be left alone, and maybe for a time, but she's always eventually gonna snake her way around and try and take over the world.
I agree. I agree. She will have that island, and that island will be fine, but that island needs to branch out.
Will never be enough for her.
There's always going to be another straw man to tackle. There's always going to be something else because she can't help herself. That's one of the reasons I think she needs to be depowered. I think in the next retcon, what they need to do is bring her back to her eco-terrorist roots. And have the Green give her powers, but still be judging whether she's worthy or not. One that still humanizes her, that still allows her to get into relationships. So she might feel something for Batman. She might feel something for Harley Quinn. She might feel something for anybody, right? There's a pansexual aspect about her because she doesn't identify as a human anymore. She identifies as a plant, but she was born a human.
She can fuck plants.
No, because then I think she would be totally fine. I think she can actually.
No, because I think she deep down has a longing for humanity, and a lot of the stuff is just
that's what I'm saying.
She
that's
needs
what I'm
that
getting
dick.
at. There's that humanity. She was born a human. There's that humanity aspect of her that wants to exist, that wants all those normal things. That's why I'm glad you brought up that episode. What does she do when she's left to her own devices? Even though she finds out she's infertile, she uses her botanist know-how to construct her own family. But what she does after that is, she lives out this bastardization of what she thinks the nuclear family is, and it really is like inhumane and ugly. But another thing that she does, I think that would be more interesting, is to depower her just a little bit. She should be trying to either find a relationship that humanizes her, or she needs to commit to the Green totally and then become that avatar. The struggle between the two would definitely humanize the character, because she can't be both. I think
it would be great where she tries to, and she's not worthy of the Green.
I don't think she's worthy of the Green. I don't think she's worthy of the Green.
But I think that would be a fun thing. Is she like, maybe she wants to give herself, but ultimately she can't. Kind of like,
well, that would be the conflict. Maybe the conflict is because she has feelings for Batman or Harley Quinn, is because
she has selfish desires too. Like,
or selfish desires. That's the reason she can't be the avatar for the Green. That's the reason she can't transcend the way that Woodrow did, or the way that Alec Holland did, is because there's an aspect of her that will always be human.
And humanly flawed. She'll always want human. Dude, I want to write a Batman. Give me a Batman run. God damn it. I want to write Batman.
Dude, if you and I did a Batman run,
oh my God, we get our own group of people. We're all editors and writers for it, and we get just like a dream team. Oh, Sammy, paradise! I have so many Batman stories I want to tell.
Oh, dude, I have plenty. I like I said, I was sitting on the storyline where like Xavier becomes president.
Nice.
No, but I'm telling you, there's so many things. The problem is they don't focus on continuity anymore, so they let everybody go in their directions.
Never heard of
what?
That. Continuity? No such
continuity.
Thing. No such thing.
there's a reason that like one shots and all that exists, but the problem is they don't draw like a clear enough line, and characters like Poison Ivy suffer.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many amazing questions you can ask from Poison Ivy, but we don't have to keep asking them because this ended up being one of our longer shows, but I think we're better for it because this is why this character endures.
Great character, especially after having this talk. Like, there's so many directions to take her.
You can do whatever you want. You really can.
Like, a character can be sexy and have that add to the character, because people are like, I see, you just treat her like a sex object. No, you can have her still be the overly sexy. Like, that whole core of the character that she was designed as, she's a new sex pod character, is still very much there. And she could also be all of this on top of that. This idea that you have to pick one is so stupid, and it's never been true at any point. And I'm so sick of it.
Excuse me. I thought I hit the mute button. Either way, yeah, no, and that's another thing. I truly don't believe that this is a feminist icon. Because
maybe it is if you think terrorism is feminist.
I don't know. It's starting to get interchangeable. But the main reason I don't is when left to her own devices, she still desires like the nuclear family. She wants like the natural progression of her humanity to go, but she just can't relate to anybody else but plants. The eco-terrorism thing is something that should be part and parcel to the character, simply because she feels that's another aspect. You know, why I think the Green should not deem her worthy, but still kind of like empower her a little bit. She's just not full on like Woodrow or something. It's
let you do your thing, but we're not going to. Yeah.
The reason she should be unworthy is because she has this conflict where like she wants something natural that an animal would want. It was like the Green is something that's eternal, right? Like I said, what does an oak tree care of the life of a human? They're going to be around for maybe 80 years, 90 years, 100 years if they, do everything right or have the right genetics. An oak tree will be there for 400, 500 years. It was like you're talking about an aspect that's not quite eternal, but is definitely constant. And like if you're trying to appeal to that, you're not going to want to make like mortal relationships, because those will be gone in like a flicker of time. What is that? What is 80 years when you're going to live? It's like so like loving a human would be like the way the human loves a dog. They're going to be around for 8 years, 10 years, 15 if you're lucky. It's an interesting thing. So you're either going to view it like that, or you're going to view it like an eco-terror. Either way, you gotta pull back on the Green stuff, because if you're going to explore this character as a character, then you need to let her be mortal. If you're going to focus on all the other aspects, then she needs to either be unworthy because she's too worried about being mortal, or she needs to drop that entirely and embrace the fact that she's beyond humanity. You can't have both. And the fact that they've tried to do both is why this character is so messy. Yeah. I don't know. Chad, am I right or am I wrong? Either way, we've been on it. Usually I like to keep the show around an hour. Yeah, there you go. He nails it. Killer Mike, friend of the channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the conflict. What is eternal life without love? But plants don't know love. That's the thing. It would be different if you're talking about like regular gods, like like Zeus and, like they are eternal. Do they know love and no loss? I'm sure that they have, because they're eternal. Plants do not know these things. Plants do not love. They seed, they spread their seed, and they grow. And they grow under the sun. It's a different ideology. It's a different biology. It's a different construct. It's foreign to humanity. It doesn't make sense. So you're either going to try and strive and embrace that and grow that and have that take over, which is truly her end game, that she believes that, plant life, that botany is more righteous than humanity, or you're going to embrace the love and the loss of being immortal. That's a great story. But if you're gonna neglect that, and every now and then she would like, she's gonna kiss Harley in this one, she might be attracted to Batman in this one. Well, then you gotta dial the supernatural high concept shit back, because you can't have both of those within one character.
I think she can tap. This is how I write her, is like she can tap into aspects of that, maybe, or I just won't address it much, but that she has plant related powers she'll never be able to control because she can't give herself to that.
The reason I like the conflict of her being unworthy of the green, but still like going through trials of the green, is it keeps her, it gives her a foot in both, right?
That's where I think it is. She's at the balance of both ultimately.
But the problem is that's not what they're doing.
No, it's not.
She's either all powerful or she's
basically what we're saying is DC, we'll fix your problems, hire us.
Yeah. You got Von Coleman, you got Sammy 3-Pete. We will fix all of this shit. Just give us a call. Speaking of which, where are you going to be for the rest of the week?
Me? I'm headed
what
back.
What shitty horror movie are we going to watch next?
Yeah, we do got to watch some. First of all, never mind. The last one we did watch was terrible. Yeah, dude, I got to get back into doing regular streams when I get back home. There was just some stuff I had to take care of, and then I had AmFest. I do want to start doing a regular stream, so let's keep it. I'll keep in touch because I'm just figuring out some work stuff. Once I can kind of nail down a better schedule, we will 100% be touching on something. But the rest of the week, I should have most nights I'm able to do.
Actually, I just had like a great brainstorm. Is like we should fix characters every Wednesday.
Dude, fuck yeah. Dude, I'm down. I gotta come on Cavecast more. It's just often I'll have cons this weekend, so when I don't, I hop on over.
It's all good, brother, and it's always great to have you. And
I gotta read. We also got to do. I've wanted to do this for years, like comic book club or a movie club. Like every week, we either go through a comic or a movie, and we just discuss it. Like I want to go through Invincible.
Dude, I read all of Invincible. Like I said, I would love to do like a joint show where you and I.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to be hosting an Invincible discussion probably within the next week if you want it, because I finished the series recently. I have thoughts. I think it's mostly good. I think it falls off the horse towards the end and then gets back on and finishes strong. That's my. Anyway.
Oh, Killer Mike. Shitty horror is my favorite.
I haven't watched a shitty horror movie in a while. That's not true. Actually, that's not true at all because we watched I Know What You Did last summer.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I just got done watching that movie where they made Peter Pan like a serial killer. It's in the same. It's the same Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, where they took all the public domain characters that Disney has been abusing and started making them horror characters. And I love it for what it's for. But yes, it still doesn't make it a great film. Drunken Emerald Arrow, friend of the channel, co-host on the show. What do you got going on?
Well, later tonight at 7 p.m. over on my channel is Insert Title Here. And as I say every Saturday, I still don't know what I'm going to be doing for the show. It's always a last minute. I got plenty of time. I just never figure it out until too late. Then on Tuesday at 6 p.m. PST on my channel is Nerds Covering the News. And coming in the new year on Thursday will be All the Good Titles Were Already Taken podcast.
Looking forward to that. I myself am Sammy 3-Pete. The news will be coming back. I'm assuming it's going to, we've had some family issues going on. Unfortunately, my grandma passed through the holidays. I have a news show that I do every Sunday. That's where I take people from all walks of life, and we just talk about the dumbest things that happen around the world that week. And then I will have that, and then I will be making a Rumble exclusive show that comes out every Wednesday, and I've yet to figure out what that is, but it's going to be something ridiculous. And other than that, you can find us on Cavecast every Saturday, and if you just turn around, I'll probably be on someone else's channel. But you know what? We like you. We love you. We want some more of you. And please like, subscribe, share the channel out. Vaughn Coleman, Phenomenova, look into it. I will
one day hopefully I can write Batman, but until then I'm really enjoying Phenomenova.
Yeah, that's the end goal. We want to write Batman, we want to write it was like I feel like I would do very well with Plastic Man.
Ooh. But you know who I got who said he'd come on my channel? I've never read his thing. Do you know who Kyle Baker is?
Yes.
Yeah, he said he'd come on my channel. I just haven't had the time.
Well, if he wants to come on,
I can work something out for you, Sammy. Remind me.
Well, you also said you talked to a couple other people, but it doesn't matter. We haven't gotten to the Bane discussion yet, but
I'll see what I can do.
Well, I mean, from what I hear, he doesn't like to talk about Bane very much, but I feel like I take to it as a different, not like historical. We try to get to the main aspect of who the character is, and this is what it's always been. It's been an educational look, because you should watch Cavecast, not because you want every issue discussed. We get to the core of who the character is. Ryu wants Ice Bane. I'll hit you with Ice Bane, and then we'll call it a day. How does that sound?
Ice Bane?
Ice Bane. I'm Ice Bane. Ice Bane. Born in a prison, you get dubbed insane. Born in a prison, you can feel like drain. I'm Ice Bane. Dubbed insane. Protect your neck, no disrespect. I'll deport your rats, then I'll collect the check. I'm analyzing everything that you do. I broke the Batman, then I'll report his ass too. Coming straight out of the clan of Wu. I kill so many men, but I respect a few. I ain't robbing no Robin on no street corner or no alleyway. Respect a few. I'm a spectacle with a license to perform violence with an intent to use. I'm a problem in Harlem, just like I'm a problem in Gotham too. I got testicles. Killer Croc wanna break my arm? I bet you do. You think you know about darkness? I was born in it. You think I'm dropping the charges? Go on, get gone. Tell Gordon and the warden to get some. Protect your neck, Holmes. I'll roll up to your spot clad in denim. You know I'm spitting straight venom. I'm Ice Bane. Ice Bane. I'm Ice Bane, about to get dubbed insane. Wu-Tang. Straight up Gotham, what? You feel me? Gotham
Park
City, can you feel me? Motherfuckers feel me? Park Road, can you feel me, motherfucker? Santa Prisca, motherfucker, till I die. Ice Bane.